Championship Saturday, championship weekend.
Yes.
It's going to be fantastic, right? So many storylines everywhere else. But let me ask you this, man. It's funny that at 4:00, you got two championship games going at the same time. Three. My bad, three. But two of them are huge as far as they have college football playoff implications. Obviously, Georgia, Alabama.
Well, go ahead. I'll say it in a moment. Georgia, Alabama, most definitely, yes.
Yeah. And then but it also the American Football Conference, the American Athletic Conference, Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Hosting Houston.
Yeah.
If Cincinnati wins, there's a good chance. I'm not saying it's guaranteed because you never know, but there's a good chance that they will make history as the first Group of 5 squad to qualify for the college football playoff. It's laid out in front of them, right? The committee let them know and everybody else know what they thought of Cincinnati after the weekend of crazy ass rivalry games, right?
Yeah.
Even when Oklahoma State beating Oklahoma, they still had them behind Cincinnati, right? But my thing is, what if Oklahoma State beats Baylor down?
Yeah.
What if Alabama wins, somehow wins an upset? I still think even if they lose by a field goal to Georgia, they're a 2-loss non-conference champ. I don't think, even though they're Alabama, I don't think the committee would feel justified putting a 2-loss non-conference champ in there. Unless it's a beauty contest or they want ratings. In that case, it'll be like they'll just invalidate themselves as a reputable selection committee because it's not about results as much as about a beauty contest.
I mean, they've already done that for me as of right now. I mean, over the past few seasons, I've had my questions, but when they basically come out and say what they've said over the past few months about their selection process, I was like, well, there you go. That basically validates everything I've been saying in terms of this entire selection process from this committee, how they don't necessarily care about teams individually as more so the individual programs. Right. And they want certain programs to participate within these playoff games because they want as many eyeballs on these games as possible. On the field product has very little to do with it. Well, it has a lot less to do with it than what we believe that it should.
Right.
And that's where that problem lies. And it just appears to be that way again this year. But it would be very interesting to see, like you said, what happens if the likes of Alabama, a 2-loss Alabama team, loses a very close game to Georgia, and then what happens around them, whether or not that 2-loss Alabama team still makes it into the playoffs or no.
Well, you know what? After watching them, and I know it's a rivalry game with Auburn, but to see them struggle against Auburn makes me think that Georgia's going to beat the shit out. That makes me think that Georgia's going to beat the shit. They struggle. Keep in mind, Alabama also struggled with LSU. Less of a rivalry, but less of a rival than Auburn would be, right? Yeah, Auburn is. So I think in the end it may work itself out because I don't think the game's gonna be close. If Georgia shows up in this Georgia, I think they're gonna beat the dog piss out of Alabama. That's just me. And plus, that's gonna be a home field advantage for Georgia. They're playing in the Georgia. I mean, not there. They're playing the Mercedes-Benz Dome.
Mercedes-Benz Dome. Yeah, but you know what? Alabama loves traveling to Atlanta.
That's true. But so does Georgia. Georgia rolls deep too. Georgia rolls deep too. We've seen that. So So again, that's a virtual home game for Georgia. And I think Georgia's that much better than Alabama. I just think so. Especially after Alabama showing the past few weeks of the season. That's a matter of fact, to be honest with you. But I would say this. What if Iowa would upset Michigan?
I know, right?
What if
that's another thing?
Because Iowa lost 2 games, but what if they upset Michigan? That would be a great win, right?
Yeah, it would. It would. But I don't know if it necessarily leapfrogs them ahead of those other teams ahead of them.
Oh, sure.
I think that most definitely helps out a Notre Dame. It most definitely gives an opportunity to help out Cincinnati based upon what they do, especially if they win.
Yeah.
But yeah, that whole chaos theory of those, like I said before, those teams at 2, 3, and 4, Michigan, Cincinnati, and Alabama. If ill happens to all 4 or all 3 of those teams, we're going to have a very chaotic situation. It's going to be very interesting to see.
I love chaos. I love chaos.
It'll force the committee to do actual work and actually have to make a decision there. But my thing is, what type of work would they do? Would they go ahead and rest on their laurels and just take who they think has looked great throughout the entire season or throughout the regular season and don't take the championship games into any regard whatsoever?
Right.
Or would this be a situation where they go ahead and actually look at what happened in the championship games, take into consideration those performances as well as what happened during the regular season, names of those institutions be damned, and they go ahead and they potentially select the teams that finish the season the strongest.
Right. I vote for chaos. Damn it, I want me some chaos. Because imagine this. Imagine, here's another wrinkle for you. Imagine if Pitt didn't wet the bed against Western Michigan early in the season. They just have one loss.
Right.
What if Wake Forest didn't choke away that big lead against Carolina and have just that one loss to Clemson? Both those teams would be in the top 10 right now.
Yeah.
They're already 15 and 16.
Yeah.
And all those 2 lost teams, they would be ahead of them with 1 loss. So they would have a shot if all this chaos.
They would have a part within that conversation as well.
This closer, more chaos. Man.
Yeah, you just looking for chaos.
I love chaos.
You're looking for chaos.
I am all for chaos, confusion. I'm for it all. I want to see the committee members sweat. I want to see them sweat to the $1,000 suits and dresses. I want to see them prove to everybody that this shit ain't a beauty contest. It's about results. I want to see them put the monies with the big ass mouths on.
But see, that's why I think. That's why I think, that becomes a problem where they're forced in the corner and they're asked to either accept or adapt. And they go ahead and just accept the regular status quo and just go back to what they said basically just a few weeks ago in terms of when we first saw that original group of rankings. And everybody basically bitched out because of the fact of Cincinnati, who everybody thought should have been a top 4 team at the time, wasn't. I think that not necessarily Cincinnati dropping out of the top 5, but it could be a situation where all of those programs, your Michigans, your Alabamas, your primarily Michigan and Alabama, 2 programs that if they were to lose, could still somehow get in, along with the Notre Dame, and we're sitting there left scratching our heads and thinking to ourselves, how did we get here? But we already know how we got here because we already have an understanding of how the committee thinks.
Yeah. Well, that will lead for 2 unprecedented events. One you just shared, right? Putting conference championship losers.
Yeah.
But also the same conference, that's been done. Notre Dame did it last year with Notre Dame and Clemson. But they also would put in a loser with 2 losses in there. So basically it would render the results on the field null and void.
Yeah.
And you have a beauty contest. It's not about what you've done. It's about what Reese Davis, the great Reese Davis at ESPN likes to say, the most deserving, which is code word for a beauty contest.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I'm voting for chaos. I want to see the committee members. I want to see them earn their checks. I want to see them prove that this shit ain't a beauty contest. Because when the chaos goes down, I want to see, are they going to really put the conference champs in? Are they going to really put the winners in there? Do the results really count? Or is it a beauty contest?
Yeah.
That will decide it right there. That will decide that. And that's if the latter does happen, which is very possible, it could.
It could still happen, yeah.
Why would we watch? Why watch? Why give a shit?
Yeah.
At that point. But